This will be our biggest capital improvement project in the history of our county. I asked for, it was like $2 million, I think, to start the study, to reopen the study that they had started before. And the bridge is going to cost, I don't know which alternative it would be, but it'd be between $3 million and $28 million.
How high up is it?
400 feet over the river, and the two columns are 200 feet tall. There's been fatalities going up and down that canyon in some of those car accidents.
If you could, point out to top challenges, what comes to your mind as like the thing that really stands out to you that you guys had to solve?
The site conditions, being in a really steep canyon like that. Bridge design's not easy. It's very complicated, but making sure it was constructible was really important.
What do you think's driving some of those schedule constraints? Like, what is it?
The complexity of the work. So you're constantly dealing with changing shape. So it's just the complexity of it. We want to make sure everything's safe. So we want to make sure all the submittals are good before we move forward.
When's it going to be done? When's it going to open?
Now it's looking like next summer, May, June 26. It's going to save money and save lives.
Welcome back to Between Two Shovels. On this episode, we have Matt Smeltzer, a great friend of mine from El Dorado County. He's a deputy director of engineering. And up in El Dorado County right now is one of the most interesting and unique bridge projects in our region, the Mosquito Road Canyon Crossing. Ridge to Ridge, an incredible bridge project that Matt has been involved with for 10, 15 years, and he's got some great insight to the challenges and successes of this bridge project. Matt Smeltzer, thank you so much for being here. This is Between Two Shovels, the Connector JPA's podcast. And I'm so glad that you're here. I've known you for a very long time. I don't know if you remember the llamas. Do you remember walking the llamas?
Yeah.
Do you still have the llamas?
Yes. And, no, my last one passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But
I did bring you some peaches.
oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. That is a very nice gift. I'm supposed to be providing gifts to my guests. You're the deputy director of engineering for El Dorado County,
Yes.
right? And you guys have some very exciting work under construction, right? The Mosquito Road Bridge. You've been out talking about it. It's dramatic in terms of like the scale of this bridge. And I certainly want to talk a little bit about that. I want to hear more of all the details. But the first thing I want to ask you is, how's the fishing? Is the fishing good up there in Tahoe?
Haven't had a lot of time this year to go. Been busy around the ranch,
Yeah.
getting caught up on things there. But only went out a couple times this year. Just did okay.
Yeah, just
But I
did
plan
okay.
on hitting it good this fall.
Yeah. How's Adams?
Ice House Road, we're repaving it too. So
So
that's
easier to
a,
get in and out.
that is a $20 million rehab project with FLAP funding, Federal Land Access Program,
No way.
because we have so much Forest Service land up there.
Okay.
So rather than get the dirt and oil on my car, on my truck, on my boat right now, I'm going to avoid it in the fishing area. But I do
Well,
have to go up there and check on the job once in a while.
FLAP funding. That might be a source of funding I don't think I've ever had to deal with.
Oh, it's great. This is our third FLAP project since I've been there.
Okay.
And they've all been on Ice House Road. Got a grant for about $7 million about 10 years ago, almost. And we completed that project. And this one's a $17 million grant and a $3 million match from the county.
Nice.
For Federal Land Access Program, we have so much U.S. Forest Service land up there, and they generate a lot of revenue themselves from all the visitors there. And it's great to have that recreational resource in our county and all the tourism. But it's hard to keep up with that traffic and the tourism because we don't get a lot of other revenue from that, our county. So it's great to have these federal FHWA and Federal Land Act program.
Yeah. How many miles of road is being rehabbed?
On this phase, it's 17 miles.
17 miles for $20 million. That's actually a great deal.
Yes, it is. And we combined two grants. When I said we had three grants, The first one was 7 miles, and we did it almost 10 years ago, almost. And this one, we combined 2 grant cycles together and put it out as one big project, got a little better economy.
Yeah. Economy of scale. I'm actually glad to hear that the cost is pretty reasonable like that, because I've seen numbers that are just absurd. And so getting almost $1 million a mile plus or minus, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. 2-lane road.
Yep. And total rehab, we're grinding up the pulverizing it and grinding it, using it as base, and then compacting and completely repaving.
Nice. Okay. Well, the big story though,
And culverts replacement and guardrail replacement. And we combined an HSIP grant with it to replace the bridge rails too. So always looking for opportunities to combine these grant funding together along with local funding and make as much happen as we can all at once.
and
So
you're good
again,
at
that
it. You're good at
economy of scale,
it. You're good at it.
efficiency,
Yeah. No,
try to
that's
spend the taxpayers' dollars wisely, and then work hard to get them back into our county too and on those roads.
dude, incredible. I've always loved working up in El Dorado County, man. I love working with you guys and your team. Everyone's fantastic.
Thanks.
Um,
Thanks.
So-
You did some great work up there.
I did the Red Hawk Parkway interchange, and then
Oh, that's right. You
and
did 2
Silver Valley,
interchanges
yeah.
up there.
2 new connections to Highway 50. Amending freeway master agreements with new connections. I've done it twice. It's pretty incredible. So, now one of the main reasons, many reasons, but one of the main reasons I wanted to invite you on here today was to talk about this bridge, right? So, Mosquito Road Bridge, it used to be a timber suspension bridge, right?
It still is.
So, okay, but you're replacing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, walk me through this project, man, because I mean, it's incredible. I mean, the span, what do you do? I mean, the arch, everything.
Yeah, it was known as a swinging bridge in the late 1800s, and Model Ts and horse and buggies would go across it. And then around the 1930s is when it got replaced with some trusses along the side to stiffen it up, and the motor vehicles were increasing the usage of it too. So it's outlived its life, but we still use it today, and it's one of our most expensive bridges to maintain. That was something I caught on to as soon as I came to work for the county 26 years ago. And the bridge superintendent took me out there and couldn't wait to see the look on my face when I saw this hanging, swinging bridge of steel cables and steel rods with wooden deck and trusses on the side of it. Very unique, something like you'd see out of a park or something, or Indiana Jones movie, maybe even.
Oh my God.
But this project started before I got there in 98. It was in around 93 they did a study with HBP funding, Highway Bridge Program. Back then there was a significant match. I don't remember in those days if it was 20% or 12%. I think it was 20%.
Yeah.
And the solutions they found to get across this canyon, the best cost-efficient solutions, weren't fundable by the program. At that time, it had caps, and the matches just weren't even feasible for that community or the county.
Sure.
So they put it down, and then I came on to the county. I had some good guidance from some directors I've worked with over the years. Richard Shepard, who knew the bridge program and the funding programs really well, was one of the directors.
Yeah.
But I'd already started to dive in it and learn from other friends about how to set up a bridge program. I came from bridge design, and I knew that wouldn't be a reachable goal unless there was some way to get it matched. But someday we would come up with a way. And then in 2010, and I was prepared. That was the other tips they gave me. My my past bosses and mentors was to be prepared. And when the 2010 100% funding came out, I was ready. And we went after it, and we got 100% grant approved. And I was just kind of jesting about it yesterday because I pulled up the old letter in 2010 that I sent in, and I asked for, it was like $2 million, I think, to start the study, to reopen the study that they had started before, and that the bridge is going to cost, I don't know which alternative it would be, but it'd be between $3 million and $28 million in 20, and I said in 2010 dollars, because by then I knew it's going to take a while to get a project like this done across a canyon in a very rural,
Right.
environmentally sensitive area. And so we got going on it. After that, it took a little while. We were really busy. Finally got a consultant on board, Quincy Engineering, Consor, and it was around a couple of years later. I had it in the CIP.
I
Listed.
remember this because I think I was supposed to be on the Quincy team. You talk about it so long ago, like 2010. I was a private sector consultant trying to get on that Quincy team.
It was maybe around 2012 when we
Yeah.
were doing the RFP and everything.
Yeah.
Because it took me a little while to get it programmed into the capital improvement program. And and then we just went like gangbusters. And some of the things I've learned over the years was to be persistent too,
Sure.
to make these things happen. Sometimes we have visions and goals, and not everybody's going to believe in it. Who's going to believe that we're going to build a canyon crosser in the rural area north of Placerville, in El
Right.
Dorado County, and it's a canyon crosser. It's and we knew
How high up is it? Do you know?
it's 400 feet over the river,
Oh my God.
and the two columns are 200 feet tall.
Amazing.
And the first time they looked at it, the high level crossing was the preferred alternative.
That's ridge to ridge.
Yeah,
right?
ridge to ridge, because and we found that out the second time we studied it through environmental, geotechnical, and value analysis too, to make sure the taxpayers are getting the best bang for their buck. Because it's a tough canyon to get through. You go out of Placerville 6 miles, and to go up and down that canyon is 1.3 miles. And then it's another 2 miles into the town, Swansboro. Mosquito, emergency services, restaurant, stuff there, the park, and community. And but when we build the bridge across that canyon, that 1.3 miles up and down the canyon turns into 0.3 miles.
Sure, of course.
It eliminates a mile of bad road that is a high maintenance, that's been riddled with repairs over the years every time a storm comes in with rock slides. But that's all they could do in the old days.
Yeah,
They
of
knew how to
course.
build a small bridge, get across the river in the shortest spot down
Yeah.
there.
You got to dig your way down and then cross over at the shortest span that you can.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing 100 years ago.
Yeah, but nowadays we have the technology to cross that canyon and eliminate a lot of maintenance, a lot of wear and tear on vehicles, and quicker response for emergency services, and actual real response that emergency services can cross a new bridge. They
Yeah.
couldn't get across the old bridge.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
one thing,
detour and the other route was not that desirable either.
right. It's one thing to say like quicker response. It actually provides a response.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, there's no fire truck going across that old route. I mean,
I even heard of stories before I got there that at one time they wanted to get the person to the hospital in Placerville so fast that they put him on a stretcher and carried him across the bridge. The ambulance went on the other side and took him.
oh my God. That's amazing.
And the other way in, is riddled. It follows the American River Canyon, and it's riddled by rock slides because it's right along the edge of that.
So does that road now just kind of get relinquished and back into
The
natural scape? I mean,
the
what
old
happens?
part of Mosquito Road, that mile and a half of road down in there, we are going to keep it open for recreational purposes. That was kind of it's not really mitigation, but an agreement we made with a lot of the recreational users in the area. We heard during the CEQA process, and because we're doing the high canyon crosser, our environmental was minimal, which was great. We're very blessed on this project to have 100% funding, and just so many things go right. Getting that approved was a lot of work, a lot of coordination and persistence with headquarters, FHWA, everybody. But it really was the least environmental impact. But the recreational users came to us, and there was a very strong voice from them that there's a famous bicycle race that goes through this beautiful canyon.
No
There's
way.
the trout fishermen There's the hikers, the rock climbers, and the extreme sport kayakers. Because if you're going that high up, I've done some kayaking, I've done quite a bit of rafting, but not me. I would never go kayaking that high up on that river because it's really extreme sport kayaking. But there are people that go up there. So for that reasons, we're keeping the road open for recreational purposes. It's no longer on the DOT inventory. Our Parks and Rec department will be keeping it open, and of course, we'll be there to help them with the bridge and the road when they need it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the bridge itself. It's crossing a canyon. It's hundreds of feet up in the air. 2 lanes, 4 lanes,
2 lanes
2 lanes,
and 5-foot shoulders.
5-foot shoulders. It's an arch, right?
No, it's
No.
it's a cantilevered, balanced segmental bridge.
A cantilevered.
We did look at an arch as an option during the early planning process. That was the second alternative, but we decided to go with the balanced segmental cantilevered construction.
Tell me what a cantilevered segmental construction bridge, like what can you tell me about what it is?
So first we had the helicopter. Well, to get to the design, we had the helicopter geotech equipment into the canyon at those places where the piers could fit, where there weren't rock slides and slip planes that could take them out. They did a bunch of work, and so that's where they're going. We have 60-foot deep piles under there, 36-inch diameter. The columns come up from their giant rectangular columns. The footings on those pile caps are about 8-10 feet deep and 40 feet by 50 feet. They're pretty huge monolithic pours. And then the columns come up and go 200 feet. And that's all done. We built them at about 22 foot each rise on the columns. It's segmental on the columns too, to get those constructed. And then what we call is a pier table goes on top of that, sometimes called a bent cap or column cap. The pier table now is a super strong joint on top of that column that will start cantilevering segments out one at a time, one side, and it'll actually lean a little bit, then the other side, this side, and this side, and this side, until they meet at the abutment and the two columns meet at the midspan, which is about a 505-foot midspan.
Amazing. When you say segmental, are they cast off site and then
No, cast in place,
cast in
segmental.
place? Okay. Wow. Man.
And stressed, each section will be stressed, and then when it's all done, the entire span will be
How's the
stressed.
concrete getting there? I mean, you had a helicopter and geotech. That's a pretty sophisticated logistics for bringing in concrete.
A large percent of the cost of this project was the mobilization and building these access roads to get down to these piers, and which you can only get small equipment down to the piers. The concrete trucks and concrete is being brought in up above and then pumped or bucketed in. On the Placerville side and Highway 50, we have access to concrete trucks and plants that can deliver in time there before the concrete goes bad. And so they came in from that side with concrete trucks. On the other side, Rock Creek Road it's 14 miles versus 9 miles into town to the center of Swansboro. And it's a very long, windy road along the canyon. So that side, the contractor chose to build a portable batch plant there on the other side.
And you got the permit to do that.
Yes. Yep. We had to make sure everything was environmentally cleared.
Yeah.
And on that side, they're bucketing it in. They decided off the platform. The other side, they're using big pumpers and hoses to get the concrete to the columns. Now, on each side, they built huge platforms. And I could show you some photos of it and stuff. But halfway between the abutments and the piers, there's huge structural platforms that just take tremendous load of these huge cranes and concrete trucks. They use the crane to pick up all the steel forms and everything, and rebar to load it to the columns off these decks, these trestles they built. And then the concrete trucks come and dump either into the bucket or into the pumper on the other side.
Is your contract? I mean, was this a low bid? You found the contractor. I mean, how does somebody bid on something like this and know how to do that?
And it's amazing. These people are very talented, and another thing, we were very fortunate to have a very talented design team, and with that was a constructability review team we had put together, and the whole value analysis. Everything was about how can it be constructed? Can it? And we talked to lots of experts, and we come up with ways we think it will be built, and we tried to envelope that for the environmental and the right-of-way process to make sure we had the footprint covered for all those requirements. And contractors came in, and the roads we thought of building, they used the road method and built that. The other method would to put cables across the canyon and transmit all the materials across and equipment with cables through the canyon. But they did the road method. It's slightly different roads than what we had thought, but it worked out really good. And it's just amazing how they strategize and plan that out and get it done in all that time. When you see the complexity of the amount of rebar that has to fit in this, and the site conditions being so a canyon that's like 1-to-1 slope,
It
it's
makes
amazing
me,
the work they do.
yeah, it makes me wonder, like, the entire project's complex. If you could, point out to the top challenges, what comes to your mind as like the thing that really stands out to you that you guys had to solve?
Um, the the site conditions, being in a really steep canyon like that. Bridge design's not easy. It's very complicated, and we had some really good experts on this project, a really great team of consultants. And but making sure it was constructible was really important, because that has to be covered, through our environmental process. And we don't want to make drastic changes and say all of a sudden, no, they're going to come in another way or things like that, or they can't. It's not feasible, maybe,
Is this
to get it done certain ways. So,
Are there any other canyon crossings like this in El Dorado County? I mean,
not in El Dorado
yeah,
County. This
I
will be
mean,
our biggest
yeah,
capital improvement project in the history of our county, I guess,
that is crazy. Oh
and
my
the biggest
gosh.
bridge.
Yeah.
I don't remember which number in the state. It'll be the highest bridge when we're done, like 5 or something. Forest Hills ranks up there pretty
Yeah,
good,
I'm sure Forest Hill's gotta be up there.
somewhere in the top 3 or something like
Right,
that.
right,
But
right.
yeah,
Um, when's it gonna be done? When's it gonna open?
well, there's good news and bad news there. Everything's going really well. There's nothing's been rejected. All the concrete's been really meeting strength and rebar. Everything's been
That's
really good.
important. I hear there's a problem with that in other places for sure.
Yeah,
So,
and so we've had a really good construction quality control team out there. They've been doing a great job, um, but it has taken a while. Also, it's been a safe project, no accidents.
very important.
There's only been some minor incidences, no injuries reported in the 3 years that it's been going in construction now, which is great. And very little complaints from the public. Whenever there's construction, there's going to be complaints when you have to take a lane to move some equipment, things like that. But it hasn't been too bad. But the project is taking a while. We were hoping it would be done this fall originally, this summer, and then it was going to be this fall. But now it's looking like next summer of May, June of 26
What
when
do you
it'll
think's
open.
what do you think's driving some of those, schedule constraints? Like, what is it?
Um, the complexity of the work.
Mhm.
Although the contractor did a really good job planning everything out and lining everything up, there's a lot to line up. That form work, some of it's, standard things they can get out of yards and warehouses they have for these kinds of forms. It's all adjustable. It's a tapered column going up. So you're constantly dealing with the changing shape. And so it's just the complexity of it. The contractor sometimes wasn't 100% ready for the next step. and it takes a little while. We want to make sure everything's safe, so we want to make sure all the submittals are good
Yep.
before we move forward.
Yep.
And so sometimes that's taken a little while. And just the scheduling of everything too, the materials and so forth. When we did the massive pour on the footing, we coordinated with Caltrans and the city of Placerville to make sure all the lights were green through Placerville, because there's some pretty significant delays sometimes going through there on the highway. And so we coordinated with them. So there's just a lot of scheduling to happen
You don't
in
want your
advance.
concrete sitting at a red light when it's got to get into a bridge for,
Yeah,
right?
there was
Especially for a column.
yeah, over 1,000 cubic yards of concrete in one pour,
Oh
and
my
10
God.
trucks an hour leaving that plant.
No
It
way.
was pretty amazing. They started in the middle of the night.
Dude, it's one of these career projects, you know? I mean,
Yeah,
it's really something to be proud of.
yeah. Thanks. I think
Yeah.
so too. I've practically worked on it my whole career. There's been times when it was like start it, but then put it down. There are other things to do, and I feel very fortunate, and our county has in the last. I think I was just telling one of my senior engineers, the project manager, John Balzer from Mosquito Bridge, that I feel very fortunate that I was on this wave in the transportation industry that just is just incredible. I was just got in at the right time. Got a job I was in architecture and started changed to engineering and got a job at a bridge firm with Roy Impson, a well-known seismic expert,
Yep,
and that
Empson.
just opened my eyes after the earthquakes hit of how big this transportation industry is. And so that got me really interested in it, and went on to some other firms working in bridge design before I landed in the county, and had a good feel for what was happening. And El Dorado County was booming at the time. So the development money and other funds to widen Highway 50 and get those interchanges updated were coming in. And we really did a lot of great safety improvements, I feel, and congestion relief projects. And to me, that's what it's been about all my career, is safety and congestion relief, and just having a good time at it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you think that you'll ever, not you, but the county will get something in the Camino area for Apple Hill? I mean, it seems like a very challenging place to do an interchange. I mean, what's the latest there? Anything?
Actually, one of the schools just emailed me today about that. Yeah, it's right off their Camino where we made the roundabout. There's a satellite campus of El Dorado High School there.
Okay.
And yeah, they were wondering, hey, when are you ever going to build that extension road and get the interchange in? We only put like a roundabout and an undercrossing. And we did actually do a CEQA document for an interchange at Camino and Highway 50
There's like
with
a cliff
Caltrans.
right there. There's a cliff.
Yeah, but with engineering, we can realign the highway, and that becomes a good spot to put ramps and stuff.
Yes, there you go.
It depends on which spot you're talking about, how steep it is.
Well, I don't want to digress away from the bridge too much because one of the questions I want to ask was about the aesthetics. And is there anything in terms of maybe some decorative formwork, art installations, lighting? How is there anything there on the bridge
We
aesthetics?
we kept it pretty basic. It's in a very rural area, and the fundings has constraints to it. And we did some texture treatment and coloring called out on some of the concrete. You can see like the concrete barriers as you're driving across it. We used a type 85, which simulates timber and
Yeah.
stone for a barrier shape. And we're going to do a patina finish, brownish, so it looks like rusted on the railing, the hand railing that comes up above that. Just some basic things. The columns have a shape to it with some reveals and stuff to give it some line work to it, and depths
Classic. It's
to it. Just
classic.
classic.
Yeah.
And the superstructure itself, the girders, they do have a little bit of a haunch to them. It's a structural requirement, but it does add to the aesthetics of it. It's much deeper. They're actually 30-foot deep girders when it comes and connects to the columns, and then 12-foot deep at midspan. on the columns. So that gives it a little bit of depth. And then the the walls down below, we surface them with a rock texture, the retaining walls that you can see.
Well, that sounds like a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
that sounds like you put some thought into it, and it's gonna have a classic look.
yeah.
So yeah.
I think it'll be a good fit for that site.
Um, I mean, any thoughts on what, from a general's perspective, what should the public know about this bridge that you're, I don't know. What's maybe the final thoughts on why this bridge is so special for El Dorado County and the Mosquito community and the work that you guys are doing? What's something the public ought to know about it?
Um, it's going to save money and save lives.
There you go. It's perfect. Just spoken like a true engineer, man. I love it.
People will be able to get to their jobs faster and safer, and not have the wear and tear on their cars of driving up and down a canyon. There's been fatalities going up and down that canyon in some of those car accidents. And the forest is just beyond that. This road, also beyond Mosquito Swansboro, connects to the El Dorado Forest. It connects to Georgetown, and then the whole uh, uh, Crystal Basin forest area up there. And there's been multiple fires up there. So this provides another access for Forest Service and emergency service people to that community and everyone beyond it too, and all of our resources.
All right, Mr. Smeltzer. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that. I mean, incredible deep dive into this bridge. I can't wait to drive across it. But in the meantime, I can't wait to come out and take a tour during construction and maybe take.
Yeah.
Can we bring our drone and do some drone video? Can we do some of that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Because
As long as you got pilot license.
the person who owns the drone does. So, no, I mean, I wanted to have you on to talk about this stuff. This is kind of a transportation engineering podcast. We're broadening our guest list a little bit more beyond the connector JPA, but El Dorado County is a member agency. I've known you for a long time. I know that the Mosquito Road Bridge is not on the connector, but it's such a unique project in our region. And as you told us, I mean, you've been involved on it since day one. So congratulations to you and everyone on that team. And I really look forward to driving across that bridge, that canyon.
Thanks. And thank you for helping promote our needs for transportation funding.
Absolutely.
That's the other message is, it's really important that we have that support financially from our government, that these projects wouldn't get done without these transportation programs, the funding that is provided by them. And it takes a lot of work sometimes to make it happen. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely, man. Cool. Thank you so much.